culture that are separating us. You know, just start with the cell phone. You know, to walk into a restaurant and see 4 people, a family of 4 sitting there, 3 of them are on a cell phone, and the 4th one is looking around for somebody to talk to. That's very common. And so technology has a way of separating us. You know, we're collected in that we all want to own the iPad, but when we do, it separates us.
Do you look at that and fundamentally see corrosion of the culture?
I do see corrosion of the culture. You know, when I first thought about that, I first thought about that when I started to think about the airplane brings us closer together. I mean, this is a little while ago. But at the same time, it separates us because we used to drive from New York to Boston, and if we did, we had to stay for a couple of days. So Thanksgiving became a 3-day family affair. Now, with the airplane, for those who could afford it, they dipped in and out. So, you know, things started to separate us. As we progress, we need less of each other, I guess, or we find a way to deal with less of each other.
What do you make of television journalism these days, to the extent that you consume the news? Do you think we're getting the news we need from the nation's news media?
I don't think we're getting the news we need. I think, especially for an American experiment in democracy that requires an informed citizenry. You know, when I was a kid, or I never was a kid.
You were never a kid?
I was sad to say never was a kid starting in television. I was, you know, in my 20s.
Right.
And, but when I was starting in television, broadcasting, first of all, they were broadcasters. There was a little more pride in the word broadcasters. So, you know, General Sarnoff and William Paley and so forth, they were broadcasters. They ran news bureaus that didn't have to turn a profit. They were loss leaders, profit loss leaders, or whatever that term is. And so they could afford to have, you know, the Walter Cronkites and the statesmen of who gave you a little subtext instead of just bumper sticker news.
That's what we have today, bumper sticker news?
I call it bumper sticker news, yeah. And a lot of yelling, you know, arguing.
Sounds like you're describing cable news for that.
I guess I am describing cable news, but cable news is news. I'm talking about the media, what comes into the home, and what is owned by the people who own the other things, like networks also. Another big problem.
You mean consolidation across many different spheres?
Consolidation, which means too few people manage to control the megaphones that bring the news, the information, the entertainment to all of us.
They would say it's better than ever because they're able to give us more content than ever.
They're better than ever because they're able to sell us more and take more time doing it. I think America's greatest product may be excess. We do well with you know, we produce a lot of excess, and we produce it across the globe.